The entryway is a space that sets the entire tone for the home. So of course you want it to look luxurious, sophisticated, inviting. So in today's video, I'm going to share some cheap entryway upgrades that look expensive. Now before we do that, hello, my name is Kiva Brent and I'm your interior design fairy godmother because I help you achieve the luxe look for less. If you like today's video, please consider smashing that subscribe button because we hang out each and every week on Monday and Friday, and I'd love to have you as a member of our community, but let's get into these entryway tips. Now, to make this video, I actually did a makeover of my own entryway and it's already made over, as you can see here, but I'm going to walk you through the steps I took and the upgrades. So the first way to make your entryway look expensive is to make sure that you have walking space. So when we think about the entryway to the home, right? So this is my front door. I want to be able to walk in, you know, maybe I have tons of bags, maybe I have a dog on a leash, maybe I have a baby on a stroller and not run into and bump 50 million things. So you want to make sure that you're very strategic with where you place entry tables and things like that. So a good alternative to an entry table, if you have more of like a hallway style entryway, is to do art or a mirror when you immediately enter the home and then do an entryway table as you get further in. Now, of course, not everyone has massive entryways, and I'm cognizant of that. Another option is to just go narrow with your storage. So choose something that is 12 inches or fewer in terms of depth. If you can maintain 2 feet of walkway, that is ideal. Now, every professional interior designer will say 3 feet, but the reality of the situation is some people just don't have 3 feet. So we need to have ideas that are accessible to everyone. So 2 feet, you can really comfortably get by. If we can do more, let's do more. Another good option, maybe if you don't want to put something on the ground, there just really isn't space for that, you could actually use one of those storage mirrors that they have for bathrooms. You can use one of those in the entryway. You could put a piece of art on a shadow box. That's actually what I did here. I used these shadow boxes and I actually DIY'd some art. We'll get into that in a little bit, but they do actually sell shadow boxes that have shelves in them. So you can put art on the outside and then have shelves on the inside. This will allow you to have some hidden storage and art, so you don't have to skip out on the decor for practicality. So you could have something like this that just kind of like hinges open, you put your keys there, you put like your smaller items there, and you close it back up. They have larger shadow boxes, so you could get one that's maybe 24 by 36 and do something like that. And the last option I want to suggest is maybe a mirror that has pegs on it. So you could have a mirror like right as you walk into the home that has storage hooks on it. So you could hang your jacket there, your iPhone charger, your dog leash. Now, in terms of feng shui, I'm not sure that that's the best thing to do. I'm not a feng shui expert, but I definitely recommend checking out Julie Koo. She is an amazing, amazing interior designer and she talks about feng shui all the time over on her channel. So go over there and check it out. But to my knowledge, you're not supposed to walk right into a mirror. So that's probably my very last recommendation if your space truly is very limited. And since the entryway is the introduction to your home, I want you to incorporate colors and design styles that you are going to see all throughout the rest of the home. So I think something people get wrong all the time is the entryway is where they'll like have fun. Not to say that you shouldn't have fun in your home, but the fun that you have in your entryway should be the fun you have everywhere else. You don't want it to feel disjointed from the rest of the home. So if you're going to do bold wallpaper and abstract art or something like that, I want to see at least odes to that in the rest of the home. If not, let's pass on it. The place where you want to really experiment with the design style is more so a powder room. So my powder room, it has a bunch of stuff in it right now. We're using it for storage, but this is where I kind of experimented, or I had a little bit of fun, or I broke out of my interior design style because it's not continuous with the rest of the home. It's really behind a door, right? And you're not expecting much. That is where you want to have that experimentation, but in the entryway, you really want it to set the tone. So my space, for example, I have very much a restoration hardware inspired aesthetic. I love the clean lines. I love the neutral colors. So I always loved their intaglio wall art, but it was a little bit too pricey for me. It was $935 a piece. So I got these shadow boxes from Michaels. I got them for, I want to say $20 a piece because I had a ton of coupons and they were on deal. If you want to see a whole video about how to coupon for interior like decor, let me know down below because I'd love to make a video on that. But I got them for around $20 a piece. Then I got construction paper, some mats for $4, and a set, I think, of like 12 busts, mini sculptures from Amazon for $21. And I was able to DIY them to get that same look at a fraction of the price. Another way I incorporated my style in my entryway is I added a brown rug because brown is kind of my color, and brown in everything else as well. So you can see the mats and my artwork, they are brown, the rug is brown, the console is brown, and I also have white and black. So all of the colors that I commonly use in my home appear in the entryway to really set that tone. The next way to make your entryway look luxurious on a budget is to add some type of decorative lighting. So this first thing that I did isn't the most affordable, but I swapped my recessed lighting for some pendants. But you can get really affordable pendants. I have an entire list over on Amazon of my favorite affordable pendants, so you can click the link down in my description box to go check them out. But all you need is this really simple kit by Westinghouse. I think the kit's like $30, and you can turn a recessed light into a pendant. It's so easy that we did it ourselves. We didn't get our electrician to do it, so anyone can do it. And we just swapped the pendants. I think these pendants were $200 a piece, so not cheap, but it really allowed us to introduce that color and that more contemporary look that again is going to be seen throughout the rest of the home in the entryway. Recessed lighting is amazing. I don't think you should ever fully eliminate recessed lighting in your home, but in the entryway, if you can get light bulbs that are bright enough, it's more than sufficient. I have enough lighting here to that it's really, really nice and bright, but I get that little touch. Now, it doesn't just have to be about your recessed lighting though. You can also add lighting in different ways. So one way I did so is I added battery operated picture lights above my wall art. These are battery operated, like I said. They take C batteries and they come with this little remote, and I'm able to turn them on and off using this, and then it does have different brightness levels. It is made out of metal, so you really get that same designer look for less, but you don't have to see any cords, you don't have to hardwire anything. I've shared many different types of battery operated picture lights before. I have one that's like $20 and it's great. This one is $120, so it's definitely more expensive, but it looks so much more high-end. This one really is comparable to one that you'd see at an R House, a Rejuvenation, a Restoration Hardware, but it's still a little bit less than a third of the price. Now, picture lights are a really good option, but other ways to add a lighting in the home include simple things like adding LED candles. As you'll see behind me, I have some LED candles on some sconces. So these sconces are inspired by Pottery Barn, but they're $20 or like $12 for the set of 2. And I just have LED candles in there and I just twist them on and off. They also come with a remote, so I'm able to have a little bit of lighting without the overhead light. I will show you how it looks in here without any lights on or without my overhead lights on. There's still a little bit of light. You can see there's a little bit of glow in the back, and then there's glow near the mirrors. So again, it's a really great way to make the home look inviting at nighttime, because maybe you're having a dinner party, maybe you don't want all of these big lights on. You're still gonna have some illumination to really guide people into the home, which is really the point. Another great option to add some lighting to your entryway is a USB rechargeable light bulb or a battery operated light bulb. Here's one. It is an E26 base. It comes with many different bases, and it comes with a remote, so you can use the remote to turn it on even if it's in a lamp enclosed in a lampshade, and it does all the different types of light. So we have the yellow light, the bright white light, and then the medium tone lighting. So for something like this, you might want to use the really warm lighting, again, for that more inviting feel that we want to usher people into the home. And I've touched on this already, but the next way to make your entryway more inviting is to add a rug. Depending upon your culture and your preferences, people may take off their shoes before they come into your home, and that could be their own culture and their own preferences. So you want them to have something really nice and cushy under their feet, just so that it doesn't feel like they're walking on like your bare tile or your bare wood. It just is a little touch that is elevating, it's inviting, it's cozy. So you do definitely want to put a rug down. I like to add something that has a little bit of thickness in terms of pile. This is not where I would do a flat woven rug, because frankly, those don't feel good under the feet. Same thing with a jute rug. I'd probably recommend having a doormat outside your door so they can get their shoes clean, right? Because that's what that rug is for. And then a cushy one when you come to the home if people are taking their shoes off, and even if not. It just is, again, a nice inviting way. And again, introduce a color that you already have. So I have brown in my entryway, and it works really well. Now, something I don't know if people talk about is the fact that sometimes beautiful runners or beautiful rugs don't fit super well under a front door. So what I will do is I will actually kind of push it more into the home, and I will shift the rug up. So you can see my runner does not go the length of this hallway because I don't want it to interfere with my front door. I left my front door open accidentally way too many times for that. So it's okay to shift it accordingly to fit your needs. And don't be afraid to do something other than a runner. You can do a 2x3 rug. You could do a grand rug. You could do a round rug. You can do an irregularly shaped rug. Just decide based on 1, your preferences, and 2, the shape of your entryway. Now, something I never want you to forget in an entryway is storage. So I see people a lot of times, they'll add an entry table, but it's an open table. There's no hint of storage whatsoever. I need you to have some of that because I feel like the entryway is one of those spaces in the home that always gets cluttered no matter how neat you are. And again, it's your introduction into the home. So it's probably one of the last places you want to be cluttered. So I like to add something with hidden storage. This is a console that I just got from Amazon. It opens, I can fit the dog leash in there, all my miscellaneous crap, and close it right up and no one has to know. In the past, I've been a huge proponent of having bowls like this as like a catch-all. I still find that for me personally, it ends up with a lot of mess, but of course, you may be better than me. So it totally depends on the person, but definitely have some form of closed storage. It could be a shadow box with shelving, like I mentioned before. It could be a mirror that opens and has hidden storage. It could be shelves if you wanted to, but make sure you're able to keep them organized. Another great way people do this is by adding maybe some type of seating so that you can put your shoes on, and making sure that that ottoman opens up for storage, or at least has shelves in the base for you to put your shoes in. Less is more in my opinion. I often find that the upper part of coat closets go to waste, so I actually like to add storage containers on those upper wires so that shoes can go up and take advantage of that vertical space so that they're not cluttering up the entryway. Mirrors are a really magical tool in interior design because they can help a space look larger, especially when they're positioned across from like a large empty space or a hallway. Mirrors can also make a space feel taller for that very same reason, and they can also make a space feel brighter because they do pick up light and they will reflect it onto another space. So they're really magical tools. In your entryway, I definitely want you to have a mirror for that purpose because entryways don't oftentimes get a ton of light. They can feel really cramped. They're often small. So this is a great way to illuminate it in addition to all the different things you've already introduced. But I don't want it to just be any mirror. I want it to be a statement mirror. You want it to feel like a natural addition to that entryway styling, not something that you just put there for the sake of practicality. Because I haven't said it yet, but you also need a mirror to make sure you look good before you leave the house. You don't want to walk out of the house with your makeup kind of over here by accident, you know, your lipstick over here, and you don't know. It's very natural to want to see yourself when you're leaving the home. So just have one a little bit further in where you can say, hey, I look good, I can go out, and then keep it moving. I found one that was a little bit wavy. It was the same gold tone that I have all throughout the rest of my home. So again, it was setting the tone in the entryway, but it also makes a lot of sense for my design style. And when you're mounting the mirror, I want you to please think about the mounting rules. If you're going to place your mirror above a table, you'll want to nest it with that table. You don't want it super high. If you want a mirror that's a little bit higher, right, maybe you have tall people in your home, that's when you're not going to pair it with that storage item, just so that it can be positioned appropriately. There can often be a really weird empty gap between artwork and mirrors and a table, and it just doesn't look great. So you can do it separately, or you could do them together. Just be sure to follow those rules. I actually really love a big, large scale mirror in the entryway if you can accommodate that, but it's totally okay if you can't. Something small is more than sufficient. Another way to make your entryway look expensive is not something that I've done myself, but I have had this idea for a long time. I went on Pinterest and I loved what I saw. You could also use your doors as an opportunity for decor. Now, doors often are wasted space, right? And in an entryway like mine, you can see I have a ton of doors. So I've seen a lot of people start putting artwork on the doors themselves, attaching them with command strips and allowing art to sit on these instead of in that empty wall space, because the door space is a little bit more abundant. But I'd probably only recommend that for more of an eclectic or maximalist interior design style. That being said, another way to use your doors to kind of bring your design style is to paint them a different color from the rest of your entryway. Now, I've only done that with my large door here, but this door is black because this door is way taller than all of my other doors. And I often found people like opening all of my doors trying to figure out how to get out. And so this helps them figure it out. But this is, again, a really great way to infuse your design style. I could have painted all of my doors black. Frankly, I was too lazy, but that is something that you could certainly entertain. And that reminds me of another hack, not one that I've done, but food for thought, and that is to actually change out your doorknob. So you could do something a little bit more sleek, a little bit more modern, something in the same metal tone that you choose to use throughout your home. You can always switch these out. You don't need to be Bob the Builder or Bobbiana the Builder to be able to do so. It's super straightforward and can really upgrade your space. And we talked about rugs already, but another way to make your entryway look expensive is to make sure that your entryway rug does not shift around. There's nothing worse than walking to an entryway and the rug is crooked or sliding all about. It looks awful, and honestly, it is a tripping hazard. I like to use carpet tape. It keeps it in place. I didn't put it in one area of the rug so you can see just how useful it is, but I can do like the whole High School Musical dance here, and this rug is not going to move, and that is amazing. So make sure your rug is in place. You don't want anybody to sue you because they come and trip when they enter your home. You want everything to be really pristine and really intentional. And scale can be such an issue in interior design. Getting things that fit the space appropriately can be really costly, and I recognize that. So sometimes I'm like, just do what you can and we can work around it. Use multiple pieces to get something to scale. You know, break the rules a little bit and make it look like it was meant to be too small. And I love that. I stand by that. And as I'm walking through today's video, obviously do what is going to work for you and your budget and your lifestyle. That is paramount. But scale is really important in the entryway, again, because it's just your first introduction. So try to take up an appropriate amount of space. You want to make sure that your art is taking up between 1/2 and 3/4 of your empty wall space. Same thing for your mirrors. You want to make sure that whatever's going above your entry tables or your storage pieces is more narrow than what's underneath it. Follow all of those scale rules in the entryway because it's really going to make a huge impact and make your space feel very well curated. And the last way to make your home look expensive, or your entryway look expensive rather, is to use some bold wallpaper or bold paint. Now, I did say already that I wanted it to be consistent with the rest of your home, but that doesn't mean you can't find something in theme. What I meant by that was, say for example, you really wanted to try gold metallic wallpaper. That might be great for a powder room because it's a smaller space, it's more concentrated, you're looking for bolder things in wear, but in an entryway, it might be kind of off-putting and overwhelming. But that doesn't mean that you can't do a vibrant wallpaper that makes sense with your style. So with my style, that might be an ivory grass cloth, just adding a little bit of texture to my space, and not so much color, but adding in the textures you see as you are further greeted into the home. Maybe it could be something as painting the entryway, maybe a light brown, because again, I have tons of brown in my home, my bedroom is brown, my other bathrooms are brown. That would just make sense. And if that feels too overwhelming, just play with the ceiling. The ceiling can be a great way to introduce color, introduce patterns, without it being the first thing that you see. And I'll also include some graphics I made right here that show you how to use paint to make a space feel taller, larger, wider, and all of those good things to make sure that if you do choose to paint or wallpaper, you're placing them strategically so that it's making your space look larger as opposed to smaller, because there really is an art to it. But thank you so much for watching today's video. Those were a few ways to make your entryway look expensive, and the way to do that doesn't have to be expensive. All of the tips I gave you today can be applied with items at any budget, and if you follow these rules, I really think your entryway is going to come together. Which tip in today's video was your favorite? Be sure to let me know down in the comments, and let me know any other videos you'd like to see, because I would love to help you with your home. Until next time, have a beautiful day.